should John Kelly resign?
I hate to. I mean, obviously the issue of sexual assault or any of those things, anything like that is very serious. But we're also getting into the minutia of what's going on in the White House. There are so many things happening with this White House. People coming and going, and new people. They had, the president. Remember, this is something that I can totally relate to. So when the president got elected, he didn't have the Republicans on his side, pretty much. He didn't have he was fighting the Democrats. He even went to the convention. Remember, they were going to he had won all the states, but he was going to go to the convention, and they were going to there was this plan to ravel it,
right.
So he wouldn't become the nominee. So he still survived all of this. All these things are being done. Now we find out with the memo gate that the Russians were involved, and then they were trying to prevent, even Hillary Clinton's campaign, it looks like, and we're trying to prevent him from becoming president using the apparatus of the federal government with what's being disclosed on the Intel Committee.
Mm-hmm.
And yet here's this guy. You get in there, and sometimes you just need people that like bodies in place, and they're not always the best. And I know what it's like with a campaign because I'm hoping that the ninth time is a charm. I think this is my ninth time in front of the Oneida County Republican Committee, and hopefully I'll get endorsed when I seek re-election. But, here's the president trying to put all kinds of people in place. When you don't have anyone supporting you that's part of the structure, mm-hmm. You've got to find people that aren't always the best, and you find that out later because you literally just need someone to do the job. And so I do think, I'm not apologizing for them, but I do think getting into this, is this the most critical part of running the most important government in the world, where we have huge issues, we have huge national security interests? I just find that, we're going to get into the minutia of a timeline and whether they did this or they looked at it. Did this guy, I haven't seen this yet. Has this guy committed a crime? Has anyone prosecuted him for these alleged abuse against his the past wives?
Right. I think that was the president's frustration, is that there's a lot of allegations that are thrown out there, and we've kind of just sacrificed due process in all this. But then individuals understandably come forward and say, well, that's fine, and they know Rob Porter, and they realize he had a very professional public life that gave no indication of any abusive behavior.
But wait a minute, though. So have all these allegations?
The answer is no, Claudia. From what I've seen, there's no prosecutions. No,
right?
Nothing.
I've done work in family court. So has Mark. Lots of divorces. Boy, to say that somebody's making an allegation and there's not a prosecution, and then to say these are true. There might be an element of truth to them, but why wasn't this guy prosecuted before if these things were happening?
Right.
I'm not saying he's innocent, but I'm saying we don't know. I mean, he could be the worst guy in the world, but, now we're getting into prosecution as far as I know. I guess there was an issue about maybe the FBI knew about it, but really, is this what we're talking about at this point? Once they found out, they let the guy go.
No,
Why are we still talking about it?
It was part of the FBI's. They talked to several of his ex-wives who disclosed this abusive behavior and let the FBI know. And I think that was part of the reason why he was denied security clearance. And I think he was giving a temporary security clearance. But the bottom line is that he was in a position to be looking at a lot of these confidential documents without being given the security clearance that the FBI could have given him. And I think the fear was that here's a guy with these allegations behind him that could potentially have some potential for blackmail. And if he's handling...
Right, except for that blackmail and domestic situations don't really line up. They're not crimes of character, they're totally, they're character, but they're not dishonesty. Mark knows that. I'm just saying, to me, they're just because somebody has been accused of these things, and even if they're true, that doesn't necessarily mean that he's going to be dishonest and commit blackmail. I don't know. Right. I don't think it was a great hire if these are true. But again, are these true?
Well, I think then you can always look at the situation along the lines that if somebody has these allegations in their past and somebody wants to give them a second chance, how do you ever eliminate the possibility that someone might be might be reformed or might be a better person or might have learned lessons
again,
from these
again, it's not about reforms. You're presuming that all these are true. I've had
no, I'm not taking one side any way or the other. I'm just laying out what people are saying about the issue.
Mm-hmm.
I've had divorce cases where terrible abuse is going on and the person doesn't do anything about it. Usually it's the wife, sometimes it's the husband. But it's in cases like this, I've seen cases where somebody hurts themselves and they go in and they blame their ex-husband or their ex-husband to be, and it has nothing to do. The person wasn't even there. I've had horrible cases where, my client has been accused and they weren't even, the person. It just. And I'm not saying that's the case, but this woman, none of this, as far as I know, was put before a court, and the evidence was not. The guy wasn't given a chance. Maybe because they say two different wives accused him, but it's so easy to line up people to sometimes I just worry about the due process rights of everyone here, and even this guy, as bad as he may be in the end. They got rid of him. End of story. Let's go on and run government. I mean, I think this endless pursuit of trying to not just criticize the president, but destroy the presidency is really dangerous for this country, because there are